Banning someone is usually never a fun time, never really a good thing other than the fact that the person that is causing trouble and drama or whatever else is now out of your server and gone and can no longer cause more problems. But sometimes it can be a fun thing when it's part of a competition. That's right. I made a whole competition about being banned. The last one to be banned would be the winner. I made a server called Banana. I made a community post for this. I even made a TikTok. Here's the TikTok if you're curious. You can look at the TikTok. You will get banned from this server unless you're extremely careful. This server right here, I just made a Discord server, and basically the rules are there's a bunch of secret rules, and I get a bunch of people in there, and I'm gonna start banning people who violate those secret rules. Do you think you can survive the longest out of everyone here? I bet you can't. I bet you suck. I bet you're gonna lose this challenge terribly.
Don't antagonize them too much.
You're gonna lose this challenge. I promise you. The whole point of the game is to last in the server as long as possible without knowing what these secret rules are. There is, of course, some public rules. These public rules right here. Some basic ones like do not at everyone or no atting people, or if you cause drama on purpose, you'll be banned. The interesting thing here to note for you guys watching is this rule right here, rule number 4. No atting people. This includes the reply feature, meaning you cannot reply to people or using that reply feature. There's, of course, another rule here, rule number 10, because I know what you guys are thinking immediately. I'll just fudge this by not sending any messages and I'll be the last one. But you have to send at least one message every single day, and of course that is there to prevent people from cheating the game by doing just that. And of course there is a list of secret rules and stuff like that. I decided not to take the rules into effect right away because I wanted to get more people in the game, obviously. I didn't want to just have like 10 people show up and then I just ban those 10 people almost immediately, right? I wanted it to be fun and with a lot of people. So these are the rules we started with. I'm just going to kind of scroll through them a little bit. I'm going to do some key ones here, like rule number 10. You cannot use the following symbols, which is the /, the /, the ampersand, the hashtag, and the asterisk. I figured these would be symbols people might use commonly, and so I figured that should be one of the rules that could get people banned. Another one, of course, is words beginning with X or Z, and obvious ones like you can't send links, you cannot boost the server. I was hoping no one would do that, and I figured like if they did, maybe they would do that. Pretty much anything involving Nitro was a bannable offense. You couldn't send emojis that you had access to because of Nitro. You couldn't boost the server, like I said. You couldn't use stickers, which is something that you can only do in Nitro. All these different things, Nitro related, were just completely unallowed, not allowed. And of course there was no messages and a secret, not even a secret one. This no messages allowed, which someone put in there before the game properly started, but you couldn't send any messages here. But let's talk about the first day because it was pretty interesting. We started on July 2nd of 2023 at 10:27 a.m. and I said that all the rules, especially the secret ones, are now in effect and set to 0 tolerance, which means you'll get banned as soon as you break the rules. Almost immediately, someone lost because we have Gay Dino Expert here who said, all right, daily message, I'm not sure for today's, so enjoy your day/night. They use that slash symbol there, and as we mentioned very briefly a minute ago, you could not use that symbol. That was one of the symbols that was not allowed. So they immediately got banned right off the bat, and it was a fun old time. Here's another interesting case that we had here as well, where we had Andre who kind of maybe suggested something to the server, and if we go back to the secret rules, you cannot suggest something for the server. Let's find it over here. You cannot suggest something for the server. Even if this is a good idea or is used, it will still result in a ban. But me and Clarissa both were unsure if this counted as them suggesting something for the server or not. They said, I think there should be a count of hammered people. It's hard to say if they were suggesting that for the server or if they were saying that that's something that the contestants should be doing. So we decided to kind of just give them a pass on that because it was a little bit unclear if that counted or not. Here we have the first instance of someone replying to someone else using that reply feature. Again, this was a public rule that everyone knew you were not allowed to do, yet this person still decided to respond to this person right here. And this is interesting too because the person they're responding to was actually banned for saying, I'm the Lorax, I speak for the trees, which is obviously a lie, and you weren't allowed to lie on the server either. So this weird reply feature thing, it got a lot of people in the game. You'll probably see that as I'm scrolling through chat and stuff like that, but that is definitely a weird thing that happened. Even though it was a public rule that you could not use the reply feature, a lot of people still did it. Another fun thing that you'll see is that Clarissa7 did a lot of these like little sassy comments and stuff like that for people that got banned. Like Rocket got banned, so they said the rocket ran out of fuel, and like Dead is Dead, the irony, because Dead Kills was hammered. They got banned, and so it was a funny little thing right there. You'll see some of that as we go through more messages and stuff, but it was kind of fun. We had a little bit of a weird case here because Aloysius here said, what are you guys' favorite colors? So people started talking about colors. But again, if we go back to the secret rules, you're not allowed to mention any other fruit other than bananas. If you're mentioning fruit, it can only be bananas. So we had a weird case here where 3173, or better known as River, they said orange. I really like orange. And this was weird, especially when we got over here later when this person mentioned olive greens. We decided to look it up, and olives actually are technically a fruit. So technically, Aloysius and 3173 here, or River or whatever, should have both been banned, but we decided to give them a pass because they're using it in a very specific context. They're using orange in the context of that's my favorite color, and they're using olive green as a context for a color rather than mentioning fruit. So therefore, they're not really mentioning fruit, they're mentioning a color, and I didn't want to ban them for mentioning a color, although that was one of the secret rules that I added on the last day. On day 2, a lot of people got banned overnight for not mentioning or really saying anything at all overnight. You had to say something at least every 24 hours, and a handful of people did not. I think it was about 10 people that got banned overnight because they didn't say anything in that 24-hour period. There was also a few other people that got banned for breaking a lot of rules. There's one guy that broke a bunch of rules and stuff like that, so I apologize for the chaotic time overnight because I was sleeping. These messages were sent at like 3 in the morning and stuff, so I couldn't get to it. But a lot of people got banned overnight. It was about 10, maybe 12 or 13 because some of them were just inactive and some of them obviously said stuff overnight that they were not allowed to do. But I also added 3 secret new rules this day. Here are those 3 new secret rules. If I scroll down here on day 2, you can no longer use the following symbols. Pretty much any symbol related to math whatsoever. You cannot say the same message more than twice in a row. I was going to do this so that people can't just say hi once a day every single day, and then they'll get banned if they do that. You cannot send a message with one word in it. This one got a lot of people, but a lot of people seemed to figure this one out, surprisingly. So if we come back over here, there was not a whole lot that happened here, but at the same time, a lot of stuff kind of happened outside of the game. There was 28 people left, and most of the same stuff happened before. Some people got banned for other stuff and things like that, but some people got banned for doing stuff outside of the server. For example, Andre here, they started requesting more stuff for this server in my main server, so I decided to count it anyway because we were still a little bit iffy about earlier when they requested something for the server, and once they requested something in my server, we kind of just decided, yeah, you know what, this definitely counts, right? So there you go. They got banned, but also Cherry was banned because overnight they asked to be part of staff, which is one of the rules. You could not ask to be moderator, hammer, admin, those kinds of things. You could not ask to be part of staff, essentially, and so they got banned for that as well. One of the rules in the game, of course, was that you could not send a picture that contained the color yellow unless there was also a banana in the picture. So this got a couple of people, because some people were sending messages like this right here, right? And there's no yellow in that. There's nothing in there that was against the rules or anything like that. But we have this person here who sent a picture of a cat, but there is a big piece of yellow here in the background, and so we decided to count that, and they get banned. If it is a very, very tiny little minuscule piece of yellow, then we decided to be lenient on that. But for the most part, if it had a little bit of yellow in it, you get banned. And so we come on down here on the second day, and Jacob sent a picture of their PS5, which contains a bit of yellow and an aura around it, and we decided that that is enough yellow that they should be banned. And so we banned them. And I got a DM from them a little bit later asking if they could appeal this ban. They thought that they broke the rules by flexing that they have a PS5, even though that wasn't what they got banned for. They got banned for using the yellow bit on it and stuff like that. I told them that I can't undo the ban because it defeats the point of the competition, and they had this kind of an interesting idea that I kind of wish I would have done now, but they basically said that they thought there had maybe been a secret rule that allows 1 second chance if they asked for it and stuff like that, and so that was kind of a funny little thing that I thought I might mention here on day 2. On day 3, there was about 10 people left in the game, and we were only down to a handful of people. And of course, I added more secret rules, 5 new secret rules. If we come over here to secret rules, we can pop in over here, right here, yesterday at 11:14 a.m. You can no longer send good night or good morning type messages. I did that because I didn't want people to just say good morning once a day or whatever else like that. You can no longer say hello or hi with multiple I's, greetings or huh or wah, all those kinds of things. You also couldn't say any words that started with Q or V. You couldn't start a sentence with a number, and you couldn't send pictures of IRL things. So a little bit more strict on pictures and stuff like that, as well as more words that could no longer be said. This got a handful of people, but for the most part, not a whole lot really happened on the third day. There was even less chatting this day than I think there was on the last day. No, there wasn't that little chatting, but there really wasn't a whole lot of chatting. But if we come on to this last day, day number 4, it only lasted 4 days because we started with about 50-ish people. But I was almost certain that this had to be the last day. I added 8 new secret rules, and there was like 6 people left in the game. Here are those last 8 rules here. Any goodbye messages are not allowed. Every sentence must now contain 3 words instead of previously it had to contain at least 2. You can no longer say you're afraid or scared or nervous. A lot of people said that throughout the time, and of course it was 4th of July recently, so I decided that you could not mention fireworks in any way. I said that you can only mention the color yellow if you mention colors, all these other things like that. This P, U, and N, you couldn't say any words that started with those. Coming back over here, immediately someone said spectacular, and so they were immediately out because they said a sentence with less than 3 words in it, and so they were out. And then I said that was spectacular because they said they're spectacular, and that's what got them. Damien made it so far. They made it all the way to the final day, the last probably hour of the game, and they finally said something that got them, and it was one of the brand new rules that was added that very day. They said note in their sentence, which is a word that has the letter N in it. A word that starts with the letter N, and so boom, they got out of there and they took an arrow to the knee because they're an archer. See, they're an archer, and so they got banned and they were removed and stuff like that. And we didn't have many people after that, and so Kixley asked if there's gonna be another round and say no to splitting messages. They said a word that started with N, so bam, Kixley gets kicked and banned, whatever. And I said and say yes to being banned. And Clarissa is getting hyped now because there is only 1v1. There's 2 people left. And then Glaze FaZe Bearson is their first message of the day, which gets them banned. That's right, they get banned because they used a word that started with V, and that was one of the new rules, or one of the older rules with Q and V not being allowed and stuff like that. And so we didn't actually even notice that right away, which is kind of a little bit embarrassing. I guess we were just so caught up in, like, there's so many rules. There's like about 60 at this point. So this is your winner right here, the AXO Ever. They won this game. We didn't know that at first. They said, I agree with you, Glaze. We were like, oh, okay, that's fine. We decided to send this gift right here. Maybe that'll get them talking again or something like that. And so it did. It kind of got them talking. They said, that is so true. And then I ought to make this in real life. And then that was when we finally realized that, hang on, the AXO won because they said something that started with V and stuff like that. And so they got banned. Congratulations, AXO Ever. You did it. You survived the ban hammers and stuff like that. So I was curious of what they thought some of the secret rules were, and this is what they said. They thought that you couldn't say, there was something about saying daily message. You couldn't just say daily message or whatever else like that. They thought that you couldn't say cringe words like oop or XD because someone said oop and they got banned, and someone said XD and they got banned. The reason why someone got banned for XD is because it was a word that started with X, and oop was a sentence that had 1 word in it, so they got banned. No single word messaging, RIP nils, which again, see, this was another case where someone figured out that you have to say at least more than 1 word, no single word messaging. They thought no typos was one, which is an interesting one. I might add that again in the future if we ever do this, so keep that in your heads or something. But yeah, that's what they thought of at the top of their head. Also, the split messaging. Split messaging wasn't one of the rules, obviously. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. That's everything that happened here. They said that they thought they were going to go on the first day, and they were curious as the whole list. And I told them how many rules there were and how many rules that it started with. But overall, it was a fun time. I hope you guys enjoyed this little experiment, this little competition and everything like that for those that were part of it. And for those that weren't part of it, I hope you enjoyed watching this sort of experience in here. I may do this again in the future, but I definitely won't be doing it anytime soon because of the fact that, like, it'd be way too soon. You guys just saw all the secret rules, so I need to wait a long time before you guys so you guys can forget those secret rules and stuff, right? But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if I should do anything else like this in the future, maybe more weird Discord challenges and stuff. But for now, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you always get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.